That's what's most important about those cancers. Get your routine screening. For us women, of course, that's the mammogram. Once you reach the age of 40, we encourage you every year, get your mammogram done. For women, once you become sexually active, you start getting your pap smears done. And believe it or not, cervical cancer is one of the cancers that can be prevented if it's caused by the HPV virus. The only cancer known to be preventable, meaning that you can get a vaccine, which is the HPV vaccine, and decrease your odds of getting cervical cancer. So you want to make sure, just like your mammogram, you get your pap smear yearly as well. And women, I'm going to mention prostate cancer, prostate exams as well for our men. Because we as women, we have to encourage men. Yes. Every man in our life, our fathers, our brothers, uncles, husbands, significant others, nephews, yes. Even your neighbor next door. Yes. We have to encourage them. Prostate exams used to be, you know, the man, they scared of the finger. Yes. The finger, right? But they can't do blood tests. And they would resort to the finger eye test, of course, if you have a history or it's a reason why they need to go there. But we can do a simple blood test, just a little stick. And we can determine whether or not, you know, how your prostate antigen is looking. So, cancer is not a breast sentence. And also I would like to mention, we had a group of physicians that did a study, Bahamian physicians along with some Jamaican doctors and Canadian doctors. And they were doing a study on the prevalence of the BRCA genes in our country. And they wanted to take a look at how is it affecting women that are not diagnosed with any cancers. They wanted to see what is going on with a random sample, we say, of women that do not have cancer. And they got a sample of, I think, about 15 to almost 2,000 women in our country. And they did genetic testing on them, and they grouped them according to family history. So a group of Bahamian women that had known of a family member who did have a BRCA mutation, of that sample of women, I believe it was 38% of those women found that they also too had that BRCA mutation. So, not because you're not affected by cancer, not because you do not have cancer, that doesn't mean you're not at risk. Okay? And the reason the indication, I would say, of that study, the reason why they did that study is because the recommendation now is that our Bahamian women or our Bahamian population needs to undergo routine screening of the BRCA gene. You need to know whether or not you have the mutation so that you can begin earlier preventative measures. And also I need to add, when it comes to mammograms and pap smears, if you had an immediate family member that did have breast cancer or cervical cancer, your screening starts early. So if your family member was diagnosed at the age of 38 with breast cancer, you need to start your screening 10 years early. Okay? So that would mean whenever you reach, if you have not reached the age of 28, or if there isn't that 10-year gap in between you and that family member, once they have been diagnosed, you need to begin your screening. Okay? Okay, because when sister said, how much of you had mammograms? And I see everybody hand up. And I can understand the females that are not at the age to have it yet. But I didn't, so I look around the room, I look quick, so I didn't want anybody to see me looking because I was taking count. I was like, okay, we have a good number, but I still see some hands down. And I know how we go. We hear things, man, the mammogram is painful, it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little uncomfortable. You have somebody there throwing your things here and smushing up there, and you're like, take it easy, like, don't touch there. It's a little pressure, but is it painful?
No.
Absolutely not. For me, I have to undergo 3 mammograms and 2 MRIs a year now. So maybe I'm biased because it's almost like I done used to it. But the first time I had it, I was like, why everybody complains about it? What is it? I mean, I felt a little smush, but that was it. And after that, you know what? You feel good. You feel good because you know, yeah, thank God, another year, God ain't give me that. God ain't let the devil come and give me that big seed. So you feel good after. So I encourage you guys, please, get your pap smears, get your mammogram. Males, get the prostate screening. I had a physician speak to an event I was attending 2 weeks ago, and one thing I found startling that he mentioned, he said that almost all men at a certain point, or maybe in their very later years of life, would have prostate cancer. And I was like, what is this doctor talking about? He was like, yeah. He said, but, you know, even if they pass away, it's not because of the prostate cancer. They probably didn't even know they had it. But in our population, you know, sometimes we feel something might be abnormal, or we like, this a little change here, and we ignore it. Some of us, we have the attitude, I want to know. But when it comes to health, remember that prevention, they say an ounce of prevention.
With a
right?
pound of cure.
It's a pound of cure. When you're dealing with certain diseases, the earlier you find it, the earlier you address it, the higher your chances. The higher your chances of a better prognosis is what we use in medical terms. Okay? So not if you feel when you're showering and you feel, and women, we have to do our self-checks as well. We're supposed to do that monthly. And of course, I would give you a demonstration, but...
No, don't do
No, I'm not going to give a demonstration, but you know, you just go around in a circle, you make sure whatever part of the body, if you're doing this side, you lift the arm up, and you just in a circle, and you continue going round. And you will feel, except for women who have the fibrocystic breasts, okay? You will feel something. It's gonna feel hard for most women. Sometimes it's soft. Some women say they might feel something and like they keep feeling, but it go away. But if you continuously feel something hard, you would have changes. Some persons have, do you know, the orange peel effect? Some people have that dimpling of the skin. If you see any changes discharge from the nipple, any changes you notice in your body, just go to the doctor. No question, no concern. It's too small, too trivial. Say, Doc, I feel like I was sick this morning. I go into the doctor. If I feel like my mouth water too much right now, I go into the doctor. If I bump my toe, I won't go to my doctor. Because you never know. You have to take the extra preventative measures. Do not be afraid. Because we as people of God, we're supposed to believe in a God who can do what? All things. All things. All things. He can do all things but fail. And God has given us his word that in Jeremiah 29, he tells us in 11, for the plans I have for you. Okay? For the plans I have for you are to prosper and for your good, not to harm you, to give you a future. So we can't be in our heart's posture halfway serving God or halfway, because God's word will never return unto us void. It will never return unto him, void. His word will never return unto him void. And he is not a God that he can. Okay. So, if we call ourselves believers, And whether we are, whichever part of the journey of our walk with God we are on, we must have faith that even if God inflicts us or allows the devil to inflict us with certain infirmities, that we must trust it's a reason. What are you trying to teach me, Father? What is it that you need me to go through? Not necessarily all the time. It may have been something you did. Maybe God saw that. I know this one. Let's go through this. And I need her to be a testimony because 5 years later she could be standing in front of a church and she could be talking to a crowd of believers and it could be somebody sitting in this crowd today and she needs to testify of her story. She needs to give somebody strength for whatever it is they are going through. So my story 5 years ago, 2017, by chance,